San Antonio police say one person is in custody this morning following a shooting in the middle of the street near River Center Mall. SAPD says it happened just before 8 p.m. on Commerce Street outside the River Center Mall. San Antonio police say it started with a dispute between two women. At some point, the two women and one of their boyfriends moved locations near the Denny's in front of the Marriott Hotel. That's where police say that the boyfriend allegedly started firing shots. No one was hit, but police found several shell casings in that area and recovered the weapon. After a brief search, police were able to locate the man and take him into custody on previous warrants.
Now to the rising cases of violence against police officers. Overnight, another officer was shot, this time in the nation's capital.
Now, this comes after at least two other officers were killed over the weekend, including Harris County Deputy Constable Charles Galloway. ABC's Rhiannon Alley has more.
Overnight, an ambush attack on police leading to a dangerous standoff in Washington, D.C. At least one officer rushed to the hospital after an armed suspect opened fire before barricading himself in a house.
Before they could contact him, he started firing shots at these officers.
This attack coming on the heels of a shooting in Houston, Texas that left Corporal Charles Galloway dead, and another shooting in New York City that killed rookie officer Jason Rivera.
He lied to take care of everybody in the street, and the child he see, he give a hand, young people, baby, everybody. You're 22 years old.
Rivera's mother racked with grief as the NYPD escorted her son's body to the funeral home. Rivera, one of at least 18 police officers killed in the line of duty since January 1st. Investigators say the gun used to shoot Rivera was a Glock with a high-capacity magazine and was allegedly reported stolen in Baltimore back in 2017.
That particular gun, there's no other reason why he has one than to commit a crime.
Now, local officials are demanding the federal government take action to stem the flow of illegal firearms between states. In New York, Governor Kathy Hochul says states are coming together to launch a new task force to curb gun violence. The group is comprised of more than 50 agencies across 9 states and is set to meet later this week.
We have to do more to fight the scourge of illegal guns on our streets, and we need Washington teaming up with us, teaming up with locals to get it done.
Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
This morning, the State Department is ordering the families of all American personnel at the U.S. Embassy in Kiev to leave the country and allowing non-essential staff to leave Ukraine. Move comes amid heightened fears of a Russian invasion of Ukraine, despite talks between U.S. and Russian officials. The State Department stresses that the Kiev embassy will remain open and that the departure of families and some non-essential personnel is not an evacuation. At the same time, officials are warning all Americans against travel to Ukraine as well as to Russia because of tensions between those two countries, and in Russia because of potential harassment of U.S. citizens.
The federal trial for 3 former Minneapolis police officers charged with violating George Floyd's civil rights is set to start today with opening statements. Jay Coon, Thomas Lane, and Tu Tao are broadly charged with depriving Floyd of his civil rights while acting under government authority. All 3 were charged for failing to provide Floyd with medical care. Tao and Coon face an additional count for failing to stop Derek Chauvin, who was convicted of murder and manslaughter in the state court last year. Legal experts say prosecutors must prove Coon, Lane, and Tao willfully violated Floyd's constitutional rights. Defense attorneys are likely to blame Chauvin for the killing.
Anti-vaccine activists gathered at the Lincoln Memorial Sunday in Washington to protest COVID vaccine mandates. Protests featured speeches by several prominent anti-vaccine activists like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Many protesters wore gear supporting former President Donald Trump, and there were very few masks in sight. Washington, D.C. police say the protest was largely peaceful. Right now, 4:36, about 51 degrees.